She's funny, she's smart, she craves chocolate every day, and she is the Greek goddess of comedy. Here is your host, Ellen Karis.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Karis's Comedy Corner. My name is Ellen Karis, and you are listening to the guest edition of Karis's Comedy Corner. I have a fantastic guest today. I'm so excited. I love her dearly. But before we begin, I have to thank our sponsor, SelectFlex.com. is where you would go to buy Select Flex. What is it, Ellen? It's an orthotic. What's an orthotic? It's also called an insert, and you put it in your shoe. Why do you need it? I'm just answering everybody's question because every time I say Select Flex, this is the list of questions that I get. It is so fantastic. It's not just an orthotic that you find over the counter. This one is better than all of those that you might see. This one has a geometric beam in the middle where you can adjust the arch to firm, extra firm, extra firm, depending on what you need. I have these in all of my sneakers. It is cold outside, which means it is UGG season. I have them in my UGGs because UGGs have no support, even though they're so comfortable. I can't begin to tell you how much I love these. They're so affordable. And for Karis Comedy Corner listeners, there's a 25% discount. If you type in the code FAMILY25, FAMILY 25, you get 25% discount because you, my listeners, I feel are just like my family, except I fight a lot less with you guys than I do with them. So check them out. 30-second video. Fantastic. I never do their copy any justice, but for some reason they love me anyway. So selectflex.com. Check them out. Okay. I'm running through that because I'm excited about our guest because I've known her for a very long time. I wish I got to see her more often than I do. I did run into her last year, which was fantastic after a very long absence. And of course, you know me, I'm Greek through and through. She is a fellow Greek comedian. There's not that many of us, and certainly not that many women. She is, not only is she a hilarious stand-up, by the way, she doesn't age. We're going to find out exactly what the hell she's doing, which is I'm not aging gracefully, as we can all see on the Zoom. She writes, she produces. She's always somewhere making a movie. She's always doing something. Please, my love, my if I were attracted to women and I wanted to go that way, she would be my type. Irene Bremis.
Hello, sweetie. Let me just up top say I would scissor you in a second. Okay, make no mistakes. Okay. None whatsoever. I am so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. And yeah, you know, we go way back. You know, the Greek girls in comedy doing our thing.
Oh my God! It's right. The chronia, years. It's like my yaya would say that. Yeah, my grandmother, right? Our yayas would say the chronia banana. You know, these times go by, and we're like, oh no, are you kidding? We have so much time. I'm like, what is you talking about?
So much time. And look at us now. Look at us now. I'm like reporting, and this looks like a sauna. I just realized I'm actually in my closet. Every time I do John Fugelson's show, he's like, Irene, are you in a sauna? I'm like, no. But I wouldn't keep my bags in a sauna because they're very expensive.
Right.
But it's like my office / closet. You know, we're doing we multitask. We 3 birds, 1 stone it. We double up on spaces. So this is a closet / I mean, I guess technically I could turn it into a sauna too. It would just take a little engineering to get that going.
I work out at this place that I finally went back to. They used to have a dry sauna. And let me tell you something. If I ever owned a home, forget a washer dryer, I would put a sauna in. Okay, it is like amazing. All the toxins. I mean, you're very healthy also. You like all that stuff. You work out, you're into it. And I like all the toxins out of you. I really think that it saved me in the beginning of COVID because I would go in there. And I'm telling you, you just sweat everything out. It's amazing.
Well, you look radiant. I have to say, like, you're like up top telling me that I never age. I don't feel like you never age, sweetie. Yeah, no, you never age.
It's brutal. I think, you know, you're a beautiful height. You've got a beautiful body. I'm very short. If people don't know, I'm very short.
That makes no difference whatsoever. I love small. The hottest women in the world are small women.
Well, what I was going to say
Dash
was the only thing, there's
this
nothing
is-
good about, there's only nothing good about being short, except it's really like a mind game, because I like people look at people that you're short. When you think of short, you think of children. So I
Yeah.
think when you see a short person, there's something that triggers like a child. So you think they're a little younger than they are. That's the only saving grace. Other than that, I can't reach a fucking thing. So, but speaking of short, I don't think I mentioned this to you. Oh yeah, I did in the text, but I'll say it on here. Last week I did background work at for And Just Like That, which is the Sex and the City show all these years later. And so our call time was 6 in the morning, or mine was, a few of us. So by the time, I know, I haven't done background work in a long time, but but Christmas is coming and mama's got to, buy some gifts for the kids.
Yes, yeah.
So we broke at about 12 o'clock, and I'm one of these people, like, I can't eat, like, people go at 6:30 in the morning and they pile up their plate with like
Breakfast, yeah.
right French toast. I'm like, I can't. But by 12 o'clock, escasa, like I was passing out. So they took us to Crafty, which, if anybody doesn't know, is sort of the craft services. And it was like 3 blocks away. It was the longest walk to a Crafty I ever went to. So anyway, we get there. I'm like an animal. I would have picked the potatoes out of the homeless person's hands. Like, I was so hungry. So I got some stuff, and they had like a pita bread with mozzarella. I got some almonds. I am like stuffing my face like I'm about to go to the
Love
chair.
pita bread.
And I turn around and I see Rachel Dratch, who is a friend of yours, who you've worked together. And then finally, after I was able to stop chewing for a second, and then she was also getting some food and she was with somebody. So, and she's a star, like, I don't want to disturb her. So I was like, hey, Rachel, because I did stand-in work for her when I worked on the movie Sisters, with Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. That was like in 2015. So, but then she's friends with you. So I was like, hey, Rachel. And I said, and then she remembered me. And I said, I just spoke to Irene. And, so it's always good to like have a connection too, when you talk to a celebrity.
Yeah.
So.
Well, she really is like the nicest person ever in the world. I've never met anybody more humble than her when it comes to her stardom. I mean, she is just really, really sweet. I don't want to use the word approachable because I don't want her getting stalked, but
right.
I'm sure she was very flattered and enjoyed speaking with you. She's one of the sweetest people.
Yeah, she's real, and she's like,
there's another badass that's small. See, that's what I mean, like big in stature but small in size, but enormous in stature.
I'll tell you what, I would take 20% of her career. I would say, like,
Unfortunately, men don't have that same equivalence to women that are small. They have giant statures, small women, but small men, I don't know, like Napoleon, they start wars. Unfortunately, they can't handle the small size like women can.
Yes,
and that's the problem,
I met a bunch of on Wall Street. So let's get to you. What's going on? Every time I turn around, you're with Jennifer Esposito, you're doing a movie, you're writing, you're this, you're that, you're on this show, which you should be, because you're incredibly talented. What's been going on? You know what? I'm sorry, before I even ask you, before I even go there, I want to find out, because we're Greek. And so there's a lot of commonality. Okay. We're all related. There's a lot of commonality. Greek woman. What made you do this? Because this is not what our parents told us to do. So when did it happen for you? I know you've been in this game a long time too.
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing stand-up now, I think almost 25 years, about 23 years. I got into this business because I was writing and pitching a show to William Morris at the time. It was a comedy cooking show at the very, very beginning, right before I started doing stand-up. And actually went with a dear friend of mine who was his assistant, Conan Smith's assistant at the time. And they really loved the idea, but they said, I wanted to be in it. So they said, if you wanted to be talent, you would have to start doing stand-up. And then I just literally was thrown into stand-up, into the fire, into the eye of the storm, and started doing the Parkside Lounge. Was the first show I ever did. Joey Gay used to run it, and I'll never forget it. That was my first stand-up gig. Shout out to Joey Gay and the Parkside Lounge. That was my first stand-up gig. And then it was like chasing the dragon. After that, it was just, I was hooked, just hooked. And 20 years later, I'm like, what am I still doing? But I did have to, I think COVID was like the gravitational pull of reality for me. I feel like we all reinvented ourselves to some degree. And for me, and this only applies to me, I just felt like I have to do more than just doing spots. It has to lead something to something. I have to have like a constructive plan. Like I have to know that I'm working towards a goal so that I can feel good about what I'm doing, So I made some adjustments and started doing some writing, collaborating with some people that I thought were a nice fit for me. And working on some side projects outside of stand-up that I really thoroughly enjoy doing. So yeah, that's what I've been doing since the reopening.
So you though are a trainer as well, right? Like, because you've got a whole health,
literally
fitness background, and so were you doing that as well? Was that sort of like your yes. career, your initial career?
Yes. I mean, when I started training when I was 18 years old, and I train a lot of comics. I train a lot of people. I train a lot of civilians, men that are shy and vulnerable. I've trained Mike Buschetti, as you know. He was my greatest transformation. What? I don't know if you know about Mike Buschetti.
Oh, wait. Now that you said it, I do know. I did know it, but yeah.
I've trained a lot of comics. I train a lot of civilians, but I used to run into the city and do it. And now I'm doing it on Zoom, which is amazing. So it really saved my ass during the pandemic, because I have a lot of clients. I have like 20 clients right now. I have about 20 people that I train. So it's my day hustle, and I thoroughly enjoy it. But not only is it keeping me in shape, as you know, comics, we tend to, we go down the rabbit hole quite often. So yeah, exactly. So it's really good. Just endorphins, right? And getting the serotonin levels going. And I'm doing a good thing, and I don't overcharge. It's a great way for me to stay connected to my friends. I train groups. I train a lot of friends from high school, including Rachel Dratch and her mom. I've trained Amy Poehler, Anna Gasteyer. I trained Michelle Buteau, Marina Franklin. I mean, my list is long. And then women that are really calling me up and saying, I need to get off my antidepressants. Literally, I've had to train with women that were going through postpartum or feeling very depressed and, felt suicidal tendencies. And we worked together and really got on a regimen. So it's something that I really love doing. It's not only saved my ass financially, but it's saved my life, emotionally. It's something that, because stand-up, we have a love-hate relationship with. I do anyway. I don't know about you. I have a very love-hate. Oh, yeah. But this is just love. It's pure, pristine love. This is it. It's unconditional.
So you've been doing this the entire time as well? I'll
never give it up.
Did you have, what kind of like education did you have to, do you have to go for like training, nutritional training? Do you have you have certification?
Oh, nothing at all. I mean, well, you have to get a trainer's. Yeah, you do have to. When I first started, they didn't have that fitness. You have to go and get like a certification. So you have to go get certifications, but it's so simple. Anybody can get a certification. In the beginning, I didn't have to do that when I started, when I was 18, but obviously things are a little more strict now. So I was certified as a trainer and certified as a fitness instructor. And that's it. And then you just teach. I've been doing it so long that I can do it in my sleep. And it's something that, I just love it so much. I really do.
Were you an athlete in high school? Did you play sports or anything?
No, are you kidding me? No, not even a little. I was terrible. I was terrible. My sister was very athletic. I couldn't play any form of organized sports. Like I was somebody who just enjoyed, achieving her personal best, which is what aerobics is and being more of a teacher, but I didn't have that competitive edge that you need.
I mean, yeah, I'm like that too. I'm not a sports person at all. And I love working out, although mine's been a journey to sort of get there. But, not to poo-poo this, and I want to totally get to comedy, but, you thought about this and I thought about this before COVID, but there's a lot of people that, had sort of like an awakening. And I hate to say this, but it's the truth. When you start to be out of shape and overweight, and it doesn't matter what age, okay? Because we know people in their 20s and they look like about to drop dead. And there's people in their 60s, 70s, and they look amazing. Your body is your temple, not to sound, schmaltzy, but it really is. And when you're carrying an extra 50 pounds and you're a type 2 diabetic, and now all of a sudden you're on 3 medications, that's not going to end well at all. And now I'm at the point in my life where I see that not ending well.
Right.
I think one of my biggest motivators is I hate drugs. Like, I don't ever want to take anything. I mean, I might have to at some point in my life just because I might have to, but like, I never wanted to be on that. And plus, and this kind of comes back to being short, because I am short, I don't have a lot of room to grow. It's not like I can put on 25 pounds. I wouldn't be able to move. So that was, sort of that, but it is just so important. And as we saw during COVID, there were a lot of people, the ones that got severely sick or, again, didn't end well, were people that had they call them the comorbidities, but people that were obese, and they had, and obesity always it always is connected to something, diabetes, a heart, a blood pressure, a this, a that. It's all your body. It's all one thing, So, I mean, it's great that that's your life. That's part of your life. You don't have to think about it.
Yeah, it is part of my life. And, I tell my clients all the time, but honestly, the greatest takeaway and side effect of working out is what it does for you mentally. Like, you're going to get those physical results. And of course, it's going to keep you healthy. It's going to prevent a lot of health issues down the road. But the most important thing is what it does for your brain, literally how it helps you feel good about yourself, think clearly, have more energy, and not fall into that stuck pattern where you fall into the rabbit hole that we were discussing. And I think, like I said, comics, that's why a lot of my clients are comics. Very important just to have for your mental health. It's not only for your physical, it's also mental wellness. But I just, I love it. I still do it. I'm never going to stop doing it. No matter what happens in my career as a comic or where I go in this business, I will never, ever stop doing what I'm doing with fitness, because I love it. And I think it's really important and it makes me feel good. It's the one thing. And I tell my clients all the time, we need to motivate each other. It's not like I feel like supercharged to work out. I mean, I really have to, I'm not like one of these people that have that sort of discipline. What disciplines me is the fact that I have to show up for someone else. Therefore, now I'm showing up for myself, so it's easy to show up for yourself when you're actually showing up for someone else. You're trying to help somebody else. So that's, it's been great. So I can't complain about that. And of course, I'm continuing to do it. It reinvented the way that I do it. I had to go into the city. I was exhausted. And then I started to pull back and resent it a little bit. But now that I can do it on Zoom, it's like, it's so easy. And it allows me to help so many more people because I can just fill my schedule and do groups, which I couldn't do before, thanks to Zoom. So it's been great. Really good.
So you mastered a great way to what is complementary to show business. And I'm going to give you an example. So my background is accounting,
Amazing.
which not amazing, because there's nothing that can complement. It doesn't complement you. It drains you. It's a brain drain. It's a sitting at work, right?
I don't agree with you though. I absolutely, totally don't agree. I'm sorry. Here's my counterpoint to what you just said. You can take that and with your ingenuity and your intelligence and your articulation and make it really hilarious and make it interesting for women to take control over their own finances. Like, you can literally use that skill set to help people and make it fun, whereas it would be like this insipid job that you'd want to pretty much stick a fucking knife in your eye repeatedly. But you can make that fun. I think any comics, and I tell this to people all the time that are comedians, if you have another skill, when you're an actress, what do they say? How many skill sets do you have as an actress? Whatever you have, write it on the resume. When I first started, I'm not an actress, but I came to New York and I went on plenty of auditions. I'm wondering why they're asking for what else I can do outside of acting, because the more you do, the more that increases your chances of getting the job. I mean, look at fucking Game of Thrones. How many people beat out qualified actors that could actually ride a horse? You have to think about those things. Those skill sets will get you the job. They'll put you in front of the line. And for you, I think what you do is amazing. It's incredible. You can make it interesting for people. It's very important. A lot of people are getting into the stock market now. Mainstream is going into Wall Street. We're fucking knocking down the door. It started off with Robinhood. Smaller financed people are starting to trade now. They want to get involved. They want to be part of the money-making process. So you can be like Susie Orman, but more interesting, sweetie. You got this.
Well, I have better hair. I like to think I think that well, I will say
I'll be your girlfriend. Oh my God. And I will be your Jillian. Okay. There. Perfect.
We're done. I will say this.
Classes, we got this.
I said from the beginning that crypto, I wanted nothing to do with it. And I had our financial advisors say something, and I'm like, no. They're like, why? But I go, no, it's not regulated. It's used to pay a lot of underworld activities. And did I mention it's not regulated? So,
Yeah.
I knew from the get-go. So now that all this stuff is happening, why is this a surprise? So anyway, but that was just that. But I mean, what I'm trying to say is that in comedy or acting, when we use our bodies, we use our instruments, we have to take care of ourselves. And certainly and even in acting, but we'll just talk about comedy right now. The lifestyle is very tough. You're performing at night. So you got to get your energy up at night. The whole food thing is out the window if you're traveling or you're going someplace, or, we perform a lot at dinner time, but sometimes that's not available. And then the next thing you know, you're eating, at a diner at 12 o'clock at night. I mean, it's very erratic. The work is erratic. So, what you're doing to take care of yourself, and when you work out, you feel good. You tend to eat better. All that stuff. It all again blends together. So I think it's a good compliment. You know what I'm saying?
Good compliment. Yeah. It is, and also with stand up. Like I said, there's a lot of things that I say no to. There's just things that I literally will not do. I don't enjoy doing a million spots. I'm never jealous when I see somebody posting doing spots. To me, it's nightmarish. I always have to have a very specific purpose. If you do see me doing spots, there's a reason I'm doing it. I'm working towards either taping something or I'm working on something very specific. For me, at this juncture, I cannot run. I live on Staten Island. It's not only physically exhausting, it's extremely costly, and it makes me really resent the building. So every time I leave my house, I have to think, why am I doing this? How is this going to benefit me? And what am I going to get out of this? I have to have that takeaway now. I can't waste my time at all. And that's just one of the things that I think was also, again, the gravitational pull of reality during COVID. I was like, what do you really want to do? Because I believe there's that quote, you can do anything but not everything. I believe you can do anything and everything with time management. So you have to figure out and prioritize what's the most important thing for you. What is it that you want to achieve? Do you want to do spots? Because you could do spots for the rest of your life. But is there a reason you're doing spots? Are you doing spots just to post something on your Instagram page? Don't get mad when somebody has their own TV show in a decade and they weren't on Instagram and suddenly they're like, oh, I'm executive producing my own show, because it takes energy and it takes a lot of work. If you want to get something launched and off the launching pad, it's a lot of work. I'm hanging out. I'm working with women outside of comedy now too, stand up, just to get this this concept of what it's like for women in other areas, whether they're an actor or a writer or a filmmaker, how they work and how they sit down and use, how they discipline themselves. And I've learned a lot from these women. I've learned a lot.
What have you learned? Because discipline has over time become a problem for me. And I'm trying to write a show actually about my great grandmother, and it's taking forever. And for me, I get so distracted, and I don't have ADHD. I have 2 degrees. I'm a CPA. I certainly was able to sit down and study and do what I had to do.
I just want to chime in and say the CPA exam is so difficult. I'm so impressed. Hats off that you have the CPA.
Well, thank you. It was a long time ago, but thank you. But I'm just saying, like, I did have that skill set. Comedy, and I don't mean to blame it on comedy. It's all on me, of course. But because we're constantly looking for work, you're answering this email, and you and I started about the same time. Maybe I'm a little after you, but when we started, there was no YouTube, there was no Instagram, there was no scrolling. You just focused on the work or the writing or the audition. And now it's like crazy. You could just go down that rabbit hole every morning, and it's so toxic. So it's so different. It's so different. So what are these women saying, or what do you think you're doing, or what are you doing? What are you doing to be disciplined?
I discipline myself. I say no to a lot of shit that I don't want to do anymore. Like, no, I'm saying yes to me, no to you. I'm sorry. I don't care what that sounds like. And I feel like for a lot of people, if you don't take that initiative, then you're going to be doing the same thing over and over and over again. So for me, I found that I was running around wasting and spending a lot of energy. You need a game plan in everything that you do in life. It's outside of comedy too. This doesn't only apply to comedy. It literally applies to life. Like, if you have to strategize. If I want this goal, what do I have to do to get it? Like, what time do I have to put aside? And it's going to take a lot of time. I know you said you want to write a show, or say somebody wants to put up a Broadway production, or somebody just wants to even build a table from wood. You have to set that time and really apply yourself. And when I found that running around doing spots for whatever reason, it ended up being very futile. It was wasted energy for me, because then I didn't have the energy that was needed to actually get the things that I wanted to do done, So it's just about, it's not saying that I'm not going to do spots. For me, it always has to have a purpose. It has to have a purpose for the money at this juncture, because comics never get paid enough. Unless you're a really big comic, you're not going to be making a lot of money. So right. For me, it's never been about the money. It has to be about the goal. What is my goal? What is the end goal here for me? And like, what am I trying to do? What am I trying to achieve? And I've become such a hard ass about it. And I got to tell you, the more I say no, the more I'm bringing in positive stuff. I'm saying yes to things that I want to say yes to. But it's hard to say no, because comics, when I started out doing comedy, you never said no. The rule was, the absolute golden rule, and you know this, we all know this as comics, was get up wherever you can, whenever you can. That was it. Get up wherever, whenever. Well, now I'm like, no, I won't get up wherever and whenever, because I'm going to try to do things but it's hard for us to say no, because comics have that, I think, imprinted. It's very embedded in their DNA, so
it's an insecurity, because you think that's maybe going to be the last thing. I mean, the reality is, you have to practice your craft. And like you said, when you have to do something specific, like a taping, or you have a big show or something like that, or you want to work out on new material, no one's saying not to get up. But we're also at a point in our lives where we're solid, and we don't need to go to the gym, every night, because we spent years trying to find our voice, to be comfortable. I mean, now I can confidently say we can get up at almost any situation and grab that mic and go.
Right. But that's important what you just said. Very important what you just said. And I'm going to highlight what you said and say that, add on that, we are at a point that we need to be able to trust ourselves after all these years of doing this, and I've been in that position. I catch myself sometimes. I had to do my special. I had to take my special, and I had to go out to do a show. Okay. And I didn't want to go. Doing spots for me is, spotting for a woman, it insinuates it's like the end of her fertility. Okay. Spotting is never a good thing for anybody. So I'm like, I have to do this spot, and I'm powering through at this point. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it because I have to do this thing. And then I said, you know what? No, I canceled. I'm like, this spot is not going to make or break my performance. It's really not. Like, I can trust myself. How long have I been doing this? Likewise, I didn't make that choice. I had this thing that I had to do, and I went and I was so resentful on the way to the gig. I was hitting traffic. I was stuck in traffic, Ellen. I paid a lot of money to get there. I thought I felt a little bit of a twitch in my thing. I thought I was going to get Bell's palsy. Bell's palsy comes on with extreme stress. I thought I'm going to be like this for my taping now. I'm not going to be able to speak. I went to do this for my taping. It's going to have a counter effect. For my taping, I get there, 2 people. I literally at that point said, never again. You know what I mean? Never again, because this aggravation is worse to me than actually risking, or am I going to be able to do it? Like you said, I'm piggybacking on what you said. We've been doing this for so long. We have to be able to trust ourselves after all this time. How many spots have we done throughout our careers?
Right. No, absolutely. I want to get to what you have going on, what you have been working on. You were in Daily Mail, by the way. I mean, that to me is like the ultimate of celebrityism. You work with Jennifer Esposito. Are you working with Michelle, or is that because Michelle's got Michelle Buteau? I mean, I say this in all sincerity. When I see people that I've started out with, or I was on a lineup with, or whatever, and I see them explode and do their own thing, I'm really happy for them. And I know there's a price that they paid for that, and that didn't just happen. Nothing for us, at least, just happens. So I know she's had a lot going on. She wrote books. She's great.
She's one of the people that I like to use as the example of, like, she's not passed at the cellar, doesn't do all these comedy stuff. People get imprisoned, like, where am I past? And I think like her, I look at what I forged my own road. She forged her own road, and that's how she did it. She created her own seat at the table, and that's how I am. I'm not looking for a scrap outside the cellar or any other comedy club at this point in time. I won't do it because we're at a point, and as much as we have issues, we have a lot of issues with social media. It can be very deleterious, like you said, very toxic for our mindset. There's a lot of comparing and despairing. However, a big giant however, we have the ability to put out our own content now. And we really don't need that manager, that agent, those bookers to say that we want you. We want to pass you at the club, because you can have control now. You can put out your own content. You can make your own contacts. You have the ability to network. And that's all it really comes down. It comes down to, like, figuring it out. I have to say, figuring it out takes some time. It really does take some time. It actually sits down. It's like strategizing anything else you would in life, and figuring out, how am I going to do this? How could I get here? How could I get there? Without, because it's very devaluing. And I'm not saying, again, this is only me. And this is the road that I know Michelle very, very well. She's one of my best friends. So I know her road. I know exactly how she did it. She did it her own way. She didn't wait for anybody. She didn't wait for somebody to say, we like you. We want you to come here. She just said, you know what? I'm going to stay the course and do it my way. And she did. And look at her now. I mean, she has a Netflix special that's coming out. I know that, how many people do you know that even have a Netflix series that's coming out? Not a special, a series.
Specials, TV shows. She's on Billboard. She's written 2-3 books. She's been on all the talk shows, all the morning talk shows and stuff. No, I mean, great. I remember back in the day, I remember looking at her saying she's got something different. She had something, she had it. She had the it, but she did. She worked very hard, and I mean, I think that's great, and it's
hard.
even say people can say whatever they want, but Amy Schumer is always creating. She's always writing. She's always creating. She's always doing something. She's always got something going on.
Absolutely. And you know what? We all work really hard. The thing that I've learned is that if you're not working smart and you're working hard, you're literally working for nothing. I mean, you might as well just not work at all, because you're killing yourself for nothing. You need a plan. Right. For me, I need a plan. If you're not working smart while you're working hard, it seems futile to me. I've done it. Believe me, it got me nowhere, and I have seen the people that are working hard, they're also working smart, and they're the ones that kind of rise to the surface, because they are work. And listen, this business is filled with injustices too. I want to say that I don't believe that everybody has the same road. I do think that people are carried sometimes. I do believe that people have opportunities that don't apply to other people. We know it's a nepotistic business. I mean, I'm all for nepotism. We're Greek, though. What are we going to get out of nepotism? A fucking job bussing tables at my Uncle Nick's diner? You know what I mean? That's where it ends for. But the point is that it's just, again, it's all about strategy. What's your game plan? What's your game plan? And these girls always have a good game plan. You'll never find anybody who's successful. And I'm going to tell you this, they always have a game plan. They have a game plan. They figure shit out,
All right, I'm writing that down. Get game plan. Get game plan.
Comics, we have it rough, because again, we're in the trenches. We're always working. We feel like we have to take everything that comes our way, especially female comics. We're ass up bleeding out of our anus. We feel like we have to take everything. Misogyny is really real. If I have to hear one more fucking white aging guy bitch about misogyny, I'm going to get my period again. Try being a fucking woman and be aging. It's not, I have to wear feathers to fit in. The point is,
oh my God, I say that it's 1963. We're at about 1963, maybe. Yeah. It is, and it's the truth. It's the truth. I heard something just recently from a Greek organization that somebody wanted to bring me, and he goes, I don't want to tell you what they said. Anyway, they said they didn't think women were funny. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what did you just like?
Heard that. I heard that.
I mean, you don't want to bring me, that's fine, but please don't say that, It's like,
yeah, I've heard that. I'm not even going to say who said it because I actually like the person, but I have heard that. That sentence. Women are not funny.
Right. And it's still happening, and it's not where we're complaining or kvetching or whatever. It's just still a reality. It's a little bit less. Yes, it's a little bit less than it was 40 years ago. Big shit. Okay, there's still, I'll tell you what the proof is. The proof is that you see a show, and if there's 3 comics, it's either 3 guys or there's 1 woman. It's never 3 women unless it's a woman show. There you go. That's it. That's the proof. And when that changes, then we'll reevaluate, and then we'll come back to that, So what do you, I'm sorry.
The other thing that I always like to address is the fact that in this business, and I think all businesses outside of this, it could be being in a corporate world. It doesn't really just apply to comedy. I think women really need to start helping women, not fake helping women. We're not talking about pseudo helping women. I mean, really helping women. And I think once we do that, I think there's this fear. There's only so many, seats, and the music stops, and who's going to fucking kill each other to get to the seat when the music starts. But, I think that's another thing that, is we're hopefully moving in that direction, because once we start really uplifting each other, then you'll see more and more women, rising to the top. You'll see more and more women rising to the top. And I think surrounding yourself with badass women is absolutely important,
Well, I mean, it's a reflection of who you are too, right? You want to surround yourself with good, right,
with badasses,
with good people, and then just, anything toxic, you cut it off at the snake at the head. So what have you been working on? What have you doing? And you did tape a special in Boston. So you grew up in Astoria, but you moved to Boston, and then you came back to New York, right? Let me
tell you what's going on. So I taped my special in Boston during the throes of COVID. And
we were communicating because I
people. It was, and then like 10 people didn't show up. So it wasn't a good turnout. So I couldn't use that. Then I actually was at Governor's and I taped my special. And I had COVID at that show. I lost my voice completely. Now, this is something that I've never talked about, except for my close friends know, because I've told them. I had COVID, lost my voice completely. Great set, lost my voice. So I have to tape my special now. But I'm glad I did, because I want to just, I was devastated because I'm dying to just put this special to bed and start working on other stuff. Because now that I'm retaping the special, I have to start working on new jokes again, reworking my material, and I find it excruciating. But at least I know that I'm working towards a goal. See how that's life-saving? Anyway, when I'm saying yes to something I don't want to do, but things happen for a very good reason. So I'm pretty excited because Jennifer Esposito is going to direct my special, and so it's going to be the greatest, and I'm very hopeful that because she's attached to it, it's really going to go much further than if I did it on my own. So things all have a very positive outcome. So that's one thing that I'm working on, is retaping the special. That's one thing that we're both working on together. And then we're also working on other projects, like just writing a lot, trying to get some things off the ground, and collaborating and trying to, put out some really, really good work that hopefully can,
Jennifer Esposito just filmed something, right? I mean, I know I know some people that worked on it, right? In Staten Island. She's from Staten Island? Is she from?
Originally from Staten Island, although she doesn't want me to say that. And then she moved to Brooklyn, and she wrote and directed her film Fresh Kills, which is
Fresh Kills. That's what it was.
Amazing.
Is that out yet? Is that?
It's going to be out now. She's just circulating it to the festivals, but it will be out. And it's just such a beautiful film from a very strong, from a female perspective. It's viewing the mob through a female, through the lens of the women in that family. And it's just, I literally get chills when I think about how brilliant this film is. It's not only beautifully shot, the script is so moving. It's so incredible. The actors are extraordinary. It's just such a great film. And I really honestly can't wait until it's out in the ether and everybody can see it.
So were you involved in that film at all?
No.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, I did like a little something. I'm doing like a voiceover for it, but no, I wasn't involved in that. This has been a project that she worked on, even predating our friendship. Like, she had been working on this, so she worked. But we are working on other projects together right now that we're really excited about collaborating.
So how did you two meet? How did you and Jennifer Esposito meet?
We worked together years ago is how we really truly met. We we both used to waitress at this place called Bar 6, like 30 years ago. And then we just reconnected from a mutual friend years later.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. She's a great actress too. I always enjoy when I see her.
Yeah. I just love her so much. I can't even tell you how much. She's an and again, she's one of those people that really, just very works hard, but works smart, but works hard. You can't just not work and expect things to happen either, Right. But yeah, she's amazing, and I can't wait for her film to actually come out. So I'm excited that she's directing my special. That's going to be amazing.
So she's directing your special. Where are you going to tape? When and where are you going to tape that?
Throughout the venues now, and I really am upset because I could actually drop another special that I had, but I feel like, you know what? I wanted to rush through this, and that's never good. I have a taping that I can actually use. But I'm like, do you want to rush through this, or do you want to put out work that's really going to be great? So that's another thing. I have a tendency to rush. I think in the nevriko, we're Greek. That means a lot of nerves. We want to, we don't have patience. Right. We always want to get things done fast, so I have to sometimes, take, listen to people. And when they say, listen, you want to put, don't be impatient, sometimes doing something great takes a little time. So, yeah.
All right. Well, you'll keep us posted on that. So maybe we can come and see it, and we'll definitely promote it. Yeah, taping a special is very, very taxing. It's not just like, if it was just to do the performance, that
Yeah.
would be fine. It's the getting the audience, the promotion, it's all the behind the scenes. So I've done it twice. I haven't done it in a long time, and I even just thinking about it makes me nauseous. So
It's a lot. You have to have a lot of things hit in order to
lightning in a bottle. It has to be lightning in a bottle.
yeah. And then you could get the audience there, like I did at the duplex. I did a pre-show. Thank God. Because then I got COVID for my show for the weekend. I had no voice. You understand me? I had no voice. Wow. I was like, who's gonna take over for me? Anyway, I got through it, but I was like this. It was horrifying. But I did the pre-show. I ran it before I actually did the taping, and I had 2 camera guys there, and it looks okay. But for me, it wasn't the show. It was a great set. I mean, the audience was there, and I didn't even promote it. I just literally told people, you want to come by. If you can't come to the taping, why don't you come to this? I'm just going to run my set. But then it's like, now the taping, what does that look like? You also want something that's going to look good, you know? Right. You want the lighting to be good. You want this. So it's a very difficult, there's so many things that have to fall in place for you to have like a fantastic taping.
Totally. Yeah. No, I hear you. So you've got that going on, and then are you doing movies, or what, what other you're working on all these other little things, and how do you like, I mean, I'm sure that there's all these thoughts running in your head, and we all take things from our real life, and then we take things from our imagination, and so how are you sorting everything out, and what exactly do you have on the plate other than the special, which is big in and of itself?
Well, working on a film with Jen Esposito. We're collaborating on something right now. And then we're also collaborating on a few other things that I'm not going to talk about just yet. Okay. But yeah, then I co-starred in my friend Owner Tukel's Pound Cake that's coming out. And I also did, I'm co-starring in Black Magic for White Boys that's on Amazon, streaming on Amazon and Tubi and other stuff. So it's been fun, and I shot another film with Christopher McDonald's daughter. She is Rosie McDonald, unbelievable up and coming little actress. I play his best friend in this film that's going to be coming out. So I've been doing some acting stuff, but I haven't been actively pursuing that at all. Like, these are things that literally just kind of fell in my lap, and it's been fun for me to do that. I just so I've been doing that. But really, in my heart, what I want to do is I want to do my own movie. I want to put my own work out there, but I love, and I have so much respect for the people that are putting out these films. This like intrepid quality, just shattering down walls and speaking the truth at all costs. So I'm really proud of the film that I did with Owner Tukel, Pound Cake, which is going to be coming out, and also Black Magic for White Boys, and this other film that's going to be coming out soon. So yeah, so it's been fun. It's been good.
What's Pound Cake about?
Pound Cake is about you know what, I don't want to really spoil it, but it does have to do with I just watch it. I don't even want to say that much about it. Basically, Pound Cake is
it a comedy? Is it a comedy?
It's a horror-y. It's a horror-y. It's comedy, horror, and it has to do with everything going on in the political climate.
That's a horror.
It's about the divisive climate that we have, and he's always been very genius at like kind of trying to bring people together with a common goal, but he always really pushes hard. I mean, he pushes to the point. I just read a review. He actually just sent me a review because he's in the North Carolina Film Festival, and it said that Owner Tukel doesn't only like to put his hand in the hornet's nest, he is the hornet's nest. And I think that pretty much explains who he is anyway. But it's been fun. It's been fun working and doing these films, and just doing new things. Again, it's important to kind of do things outside of stand-up for me, because then otherwise I become too linear, and then I fall into that hole,
I think you've had a very interesting life. And do you, like, when you say you want to do your own thing, I could totally see you doing something, somewhat autobiographical, with again, artistic license, because you've had a lot of experiences. You have 2 siblings. I guess I could say this. Could you say it on stage? You have a disabled,
Yeah.
a
Autistic, my brother.
sibling, you the Greek family, you came here, you're fitness, you married a fireman, you live on Staten Island. I mean, just on paper, it's like, oh my God, this is hilarious. And you're a character. You're a bit of a character. So I could totally see you taking all of that and and putting that out there in a story, in a series, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You've got these famous friends. I mean, I don't know, that to me is ripe for lots of good stories.
I think comics and actors and performers, they take whatever they can, they glean all the aspects of their lives, and they try to put it in some performance piece, whether it's, I think we all do that. So yeah, I am doing that, but I think I think that I think it's also very it's like one of my friends said, when you work on something like that, it's very cathartic too. Everything going, you have to just, it's like it's not just comedy. It's like this drama, and that's sitting, the comedy sitting underneath the drama. Believe me, I'm a comic. When I write, I go for the laugh. That's how I work. I'm a straight up, I like hyperbolic comedy. I like comedy. That's it. So I had to learn all this, you have to take your time. Again, I'm write the joke. If I don't hear a laugh, I don't think it's good, but it's so I'm working on pieces now where I have to think about the story. Like, it's okay to be vulnerable in places and then let the laugh, it's going to be funny because you're funny, or whoever you're talking about is funny. So you don't have to push so hard, almost like before the punchline, there's always a thing before the punchline.
Yeah, we're very reactive to getting that laugh, or, being that, even if it's a topic that's not funny, but we need to make it funny. Like, that's how we've trained our brain to work. So it is definitely another way of thinking. In writing this show about my great grandmother, I had a completely different perspective, or I had a different viewpoint on how I was going to do something. And I just started working with somebody. I think that this is going to be the person I'm going to be working with it. But anyway, the first session we had, he gave me some great advice. And one of them was, because I was going to come out as my grandmother, whatever. And he's like, no, we don't want to see Ellen, come out as her. So anyway, I get it. But my whole point to him was, I wrote this thing when I come out to talk to the audience, and it's funny, and because that's like, I wrote it like a set, so I know that's how we write. So just to switch gears for the last couple of minutes, I believe that you and I got married at around the same time.
We did? Oh, God.
We got married at around the same time.
Really?
And
oh my God, 2007. When was it?
I was 2009.
Wait a minute. So was I. I'm sorry.
Because I remember, I didn't post any of my pictures on Facebook, but I saw yours, and I think we got married like a few weeks apart.
Oh my God, no way.
As did, and I'll just say the name, I'm sure she won't care, as did Stacy Pressman and Tim Honeymoon, although that didn't last. That there's
right. My husband's walking on thin ice every day.
They all are. So how do you like living I know you've been living there for a long time. I mean, Staten Island, for those that don't know, it's sort of its own community. It's got its own thing going on from New York City. And I admire you, because I get lazy and I live on the Upper East Side. I don't know how you get in the car and you drive, or however it is that you get to the city. It's not 10 minutes. So
I fucking hate driving. I'm just going to throw it out there. I just cannot stand driving. People are like, just find, no, there is no joy for me. And there's a lot of, I'm getting worse because I can't see as well. And I'm afraid, like driving in at night is an issue for me. It's just, there's that whole setup, but the traveling in itself is a Herculean obstacle for me because, it's also very costly. You have to take the Verrazano Bridge. You have to battle traffic on the way in. Takes 2 hours. Then there's parking. Parking is always an issue. I can't count how many times I have had tickets on my cars going in for a spot that's paying me like $20-$30, and I have a $50 ticket, or I had my car towed. I can't. God. I can't. So these things drive me insane. But then there's a lot of issues. I do appreciate being on Staten Island for the space that I have. Like, I don't want to be in a small apartment. I lived in a small apartment for a very, very long time. I lived in a studio. I joke that and this is not a joke, it's actually true. My landlord evicted me because he wanted to turn my apartment into an elevator. This is a true story. That paid me off. So I said, no, I don't care, sweetie. Just fucking, he threw in a couple of sweaters. We were square. And I left. I got married. But I love the fact that I can have space. I love having a backyard. I like to have that space. So it's good. It's everything is like this. It's a pro and, a con. It's a seesaw,
Right.
Things.
Although you can get to Jersey easy, you can get to Long Island easier. I mean, again, like, I can count on my hand how much I've done in the city. I mean, I'm always getting in the car, or getting on a train, or, I'm always going somewhere. So you don't necessarily have to be in Manhattan.
Right.
So,
right.
And it is nice to have the space and a washer dryer and a garage and, just the little things in life.
We're adulting, sweetie. We're adulting.
Oh my God. Living large, baby. Living large. So give us where everybody can find you, if you got anything coming up that we can come see you, or it'll be just on your social media, your website, give us all that good stuff.
Okay, so anything that's coming out, I think Pound Cake is being released in January, but listen, everything that I do, I'm just going to post on my social media. If you at Irene Bremis on Instagram, at Irene Bremis 13. She's crazy. I'm just warning you. On Twitter, and Irene Bremis on Facebook. Yeah, I usually just post everything that I'm doing, anything upcoming. So up and coming. So yeah, that's about it.
That's good. Everybody needs to follow. We didn't get into it. I wanted to add, well, I'll ask you really quick right now before we go. What do you think about all of the cancellation, the cancel culture, as they say? Are you doing anything in your act to pull back, or you're just like, screw that, or I don't care, or where all that?
I think here's the thing. I have a rule: just don't punch down. You know what I mean? Don't punch down. You can say whatever you want, just don't punch down. It's pretty basic, I'm not pulling back. I've never had a racist act or anything, though. So, I mean, I say things that offend people. I swear. People are like, stop swearing. I'll talk about things that make people uncomfortable, but I don't give a shit, and I never will. So I think in that sense, if somebody's going to get canceled because you just don't like, but people are getting canceled it's hard. As a comic, it sucks to hear the word cancel, just sucks to hear the word cancel. I think every fucking comic has tripped on their words, myself included, has tripped on words, has had a concept, and, it's been trying to make a point from a comedic perspective, shine a light, and it backfires, or you're getting canceled. I think but I have this one rule to just wrap it up that I remind myself of, and I don't know if and again, I'm not at a point where somebody's going to scrutinize my act. You know what I mean? I'm not at that point where I'm such a big comic that everything I say is going to be put under scrutiny again, so, but just try not to punch down, and there's such a thing as timing. Sometimes people are so eager to express the way they feel, and it's like, it is a little too soon. You have to let things kind of set so that the mind can be open to really absorb what you're saying. this way you can communicate and people can actually wrap their hand around what you're saying. So it's, cancellation's always no comic likes the word canceled.
Right. I think people have gotten way, 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 way too sensitive. And if you don't like it, then you don't watch, or you turn it off, or you can get up and leave. No one said you can't get up and leave. So, but I agree with you. And, but I don't like anybody losing work because of it. That really makes me sick. So,
I'm sure if I were a celebrity and somebody went through my act, they'd be like, this bitch is fucking canceled a million times. Let's get rid of her right now. Let's just burn her at the stake. Her and her goddamn feathers. Let's get her in there. I think, it would be bad. But, I try not to let, I think it's very important to take risks. And I will always think that about comedy. Comics, that's what they do. They push and they say things. They bring things to the forefront and they examine things. That's what comics do. That's what they've always done since the beginning of time, during the Roman theater, when they were ridiculing everybody in the kingdom. It's what comics do.
And the Greeks.
And the Greeks before the goddamn Roman kingdom. Screw the Italians. I can't believe I said that. Thank you for the correction.
I love you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much. This has been so much fun. You do such a great job.
Well, thank you so. Okay, stay on after I hit record, and or when I hit pause. I'm Ellen Karis. Check me out on Instagram and Twitter. It's all connected at Greek Chick Comic, and Facebook Greek Goddess of Comedy. Well, Irene is also a Greek Goddess of Comedy as well. And ellenkaris.com, this website, you'll find this podcast and all the other ones that I've done for the last 7 years every week. So thank you, everybody. Until next time. Bye.